medical engineering MBA. These are some of the careers that are usually considered safe and financially secure. But with the growth of the internet over the past 10, 15 years, a lot of new creative careers have come up that look equally promising and financially secure. Hi, my name is Anubhav, and I bring you a new series called The Creative Careers Show, where in each episode, I invite a highly successful professional from diverse creative careers and ask them some really interesting questions. Questions about what do they do, how does that career look like from inside, how much money do they make, and most importantly, how does the future of that career look like. Today, we talk about the career of a fashion influencer. So, today, we are going to talk about a career which is very interesting and did not exist 5 years ago. And today, it has gone so mainstream that it is difficult for us to think कि ये career पहले कुछ ही साल पहले था ही नहीं. We're talking about the career of a fashion and lifestyle content creator. And for that, we have Dr. Meghla Bause, who is a highly successful fashion and lifestyle content creator. And she started her career as a dentist, and then she graduated in MBA as well. And today, she's one of India's most successful content creators in the fashion and lifestyle space. Meghla, welcome to the Creative Career Show.
Thank you so much, Anubhav, for the sweet introduction. It is my pleasure to be here.
Meghla, I would like to know about your story. How did it all start for you? What made you, you started your career as a dentist, right? So then what made you shift to this career? And, tell us more about this.
So, hello, I'm Dr. Meghla Bause, as nicely introduced by Anubhav. And I'm a full-time fashion and lifestyle content creator on Instagram now. And my whole journey started 2 years ago about Instagram. So my dental career started, I think, 7 years ago. I had my own clinic for 3 years and I used to run it in New Bombay side. It was a great business I had, very nice patients I had. And then eventually I got married and I got shifted to another place like in Bombay side. And that's when I realized I was not able to run the clinic because of the distance and travel regularly. So I decided to shut down my clinic, and that everybody around me was like, now you have to open your own clinic nearby because that's what dentists do. And I was not in the mood of doing that because I realized that while I was doing, I was liking it, but I wasn't exactly loving the work. My actual love was only towards fashion. So I used to be a part-time model as well during my dentistry days, even during my college days. And that is the time I used to actually enjoy myself. So I realized that I no longer want to just be confined to a clinic. That is not the life I want for myself. And that's why I was very depressed for like a couple of years ago, where I had to change my life totally in order to be happy again. So the whole reason was I wasn't happy anymore, because if a woman does not have a strong career, I don't think a woman can be happy. We need something to look forward to. We need a challenge. So my challenge was to find myself all over again. So while doing that, I realized that during my clinic, I used to enjoy the marketing part more than the actual physical dentistry part. So I decided let's just study MBA, since I like talking so much, since I like presenting so much. So MBA was one fixed field for me. And at the same time, I started posting my pictures on Instagram. So it was just coincidental. It was not a hardcore thing, I started posting my modeling photos on Instagram. And that way things changed. I started getting recognized by brands. I started getting invites for events, for launch openings all over Mumbai. Slowly. And then there was this one day that I got contacted by a hair shampoo commercial, and they asked me to do a video for them. And that video went viral. The video really performed so well that with time, things just started rolled on. The followers came in, the brands came in. And then later on, when COVID hit all of us, I was at home. Even my MBA college was, from home. So we had Zoom call lectures. Even that gave me a lot of free time to work on my content. And that's when I came up with my video creation skills. I realized my videos are so much better than my pictures only. I can explain things in detail. I can showcase things in detail. And that's how I started leveling up my editing skills, my capturing skills. And I got a team in hand to, to show them as well how we're supposed to do. From there to today, now that I've worked with 600, 700 plus brands, and I've worked with Samsung, I worked with Lakme, L'Oreal Paris. I am a brand partner with all these major brands, and I've got so much exposure that I'm just grateful for this entire journey. So it has been a great journey, and just in 2 years that I was able to do so much, it's only because of the extra time I have had due to COVID, sitting at home. So that was, in short, how I started and how I reached here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you have collaborated with 600 brands in just a span of 2 years, right?
2 years, yes.
Which is amazing. It's like you're working for one, अगर 2 साल में देखें, it's like 600-700 days. So you have done one, you've partnered with one brand like every day, right?
Absolutely. It used to be crazy. Like now I've started taking lesser collaborations because the increase the collaboration quantity would be less and the quality would be more. But back then it was like literally 1 or 2 brands daily. It was happening that much. That's great.
Okay. And so was it like automatic, or you had decided, or you had put some efforts into getting into this space, or it all happened automatically?
Initially, it was just trial and error. So I had a private account. I changed it into public account. And initially, for the first few months, I was just posting without even expecting anything. But then I got invited to a cafe opening once, and there I did a shoot for them. And then I got a clothing brand commercial as well to shoot for them. So I modeled for them and I posted. And that's when I think brands realize that I'm doing it professionally. So why don't we just try things out with her? And I was very open for experimentation with everyone. Like I was very customized. Like I used to customize my way of working if the brand wants a particular way. So that way, I think it worked for me as well as the brand. That's how they liked me.
Okay.
So it was all trial and so there is no fixed. This is not like having a dentist or being a doctor, engineer. Ki aisa padna hai. You have to find your own way to be here. Because this is such a new field. Like you said, 5 years, 6 years ago, there was no such thing as Instagram influencer. This is just bought on by Instagram, and there was YouTuber section, but Instagram influencer was a totally different game. So you have to I found my own way. There's no fixed book or rule that this is how you're supposed to go. I just took it at my own pace, whatever I was comfortable doing. Okay. And that worked, I guess, eventually.
Yeah, that worked very well. And I have to say that, your expressions and the way you speak, right? I have seen so many of your videos. The way you tell stories, it looks very authentic. It looks like you mean what you're saying. So, and I think that could be one of the reasons for your success. Yeah.
I try to keep my content as organic and as from the heart as I possibly can. Even if it's a paid collaboration, I see to it that I bring out my personality associated with the brand. And it's not only about the brand, so it looks very real. Even though they all know that I'm just promoting a product, but then I'm doing it in my own way. So that's how it has been a different, even in this saturated niche, I have my own super niche of, storytelling content.
Absolutely. Acha, if I am someone who has been a content consumer, but never been a content creator, but maybe wish to be a creator someday, tell us what does, apart from, जो हम वीडियो में देखते हैं, you talking about collaborations, you're talking about products of different companies that you promote. What do you do exactly? How does the process look like? आपका पूरा दिन कैसा दिखता है? How do you engage with brands? How does the background process looks like? How do you get new brands to work with you?
Okay, so usually how we get reached out by brands, either I reach out to certain brands or brands reach out to me via certain agencies, and they come via DMs or they come via emails, or most of them have my number by now. Most of them have my number that they can contact me on. And if somebody who is new to this, so you have to start creating content around yourself, start creating real content that is connected to you, so that brands might feel associated. So a brand will be associated to you only if they feel somewhere your vibes match our brand vibes, So now that I do health, fitness, skincare a lot, so a lot of brands come to me because I have decent skin and I can create videos that I can talk about skin. So you have to develop a personality and have to the proof of your personality should be content. Yeah, I make such videos and my videos do so well. So for a newcomer, you have to create enough content so that people believe that you can do this. And with that content, you need to have a particular following as well as reach. You need to have a little fandom that people are feeling that you're authentic and, I believe what you say. That has to be a feeling that a person has. So once you develop that by yourself, brands automatically come in. And even if brands don't come in, you can definitely reach out to them via emails and DMs. So now how the process works for me is when a brand reaches out to me and when we talk about the commercials and deliverables. So there's a timeline where I have to create content like a video. Suppose I have to create a video. So as soon as I receive the product, I have to commit to a timeline. I'll create within a week, within 10 days or 3 to 4 days, whatever it is. And then we come up with a script. And when you come up with the script, you either the brand sends the script or we create our own script according to my personality. So even if the brand sends you, I twist it a little bit according to me so that it is really good. It comes out, it shows in the video if it's real or not, That is the thing. And once you do that, I have my videographer, I have my editor, I have a team handling me. So they take care of the shooting. We meet together, we shoot on a particular day, and then at night we sit editing it. And then goes the approval part. So once you're done with the video, you have to send it to the brand for the approval. So that takes around a couple of days, and the brand comes up with a few changes. Once all that is the video is approved from both parties, then we go around posting it. So that's the entire process of how it happens.
Okay. And going back a little bit, so if I am a fashion content creator, then if I'm reaching out to brands, right? How do I reach out? What is the best way? Do I have a portfolio that I share with people?
Yes.
Could you talk about that
a bit? Portfolio. You need to talk about, so when you have your own media kit, you have to prepare your own professional media kit where you show your pictures, fashion model. If you're into fashion or if you're into fitness, you have to show your fitness pictures. And then if you talk about the previous work that you have done, and if you're totally new, then you have to say that I'm totally new and I'm finding my space. So brands sometimes do have space for totally new. So I was totally new at one point and people gave me a chance. Of course I wasn't born with this. I was a dentist. So there are few startups who give new people a chance that you have to look for them forever. Like to try your best here, there is no hard and fast thing. They have to do this. You have to, whenever you come across a brand which you think you like and you like to promote, you can definitely email them or DM them. And some brands do respond. Most of them have PRs, they do respond. And if they find you suitable, they will definitely respond. And if they don't respond, just don't take it to the heart. It's okay. Not everybody is available for you. You should just keep trying till you think, you've got it. So that's how just don't take it very seriously. That's my whole point. If you take it seriously, then the whole fun is gone and you'll never grow. Take it easy. Just DM them in a casual way. Just email them, and if you get a response, well and great. If you don't, just move on. Don't even think about it.
And that media kit that you're talking about, so it has your pictures, it has some of your past work,
your work, your age, maybe your qualification, your location, so that it's easy for a brand also, to
do they also
either have a write-up or a media kit.
Okay. Do they also look for numbers like your engagement rate and stuff like that? Do they ask for that as well?
So if you said that, it's great. I mean, the brands will have your data well, and you can actually say, this is my engagement rate, this is my followers, this is my previous work, this is my reach. If you give all that, it's great. I don't really give all that because, the brands already know me by now. So we've already worked together. So we know how it is. But yes, if you're a total newcomer, the more data you give, it's good. But don't make it too boring. Make it casual, keep it a little data, and then, keep it a little interesting. Then automatically things load in. Best is when you tell you worked with so many brands and worked all this, and then you can share links of the brand as well. Yeah, see, this is my work, so that the brand can directly click and go to that link. The shorter and faster it is, the better it is for both parties.
Okay. And when a brand reaches out to you, right, they have a new product or something that they want you to promote. When you talk about it, so how do you decide the story? Is it the brand that tells you that this is what we would like you to do, or do you design your own script, your own everything, and then you tell the brand?
Sometimes when the campaigns are designed, they are fixed campaign designs. So you have to go as per the brand rules. So they might be coming up with the launch, and they want the launch to look something like that. And for that, they will want videos with influencers. If it's designed, then we just go as per that. But sometimes when the brands give us total freedom, you can come up with anything of your choice. We just be yourself and all, then we come up with our own ideas. So it's actually a mutual decision. Most of the times is mutually, we talk on a conversation, like on a proper phone conversation. We want this, this is a vibe, so what do you think of? And within a day or two, I give them the script, and the script is written on revised.
Okay.
So it is a very nice process. It's a quite smooth process, so that we both are happy that way.
Okay, awesome. And when you have been working with a lot of brands over the past couple of years. So have you been engaged into one-time collaborations where they wanted you to promote just make one video about one of their products? Or have you noticed that there has been an engagement of multiple collaborations where for the same product they have engaged you for like 4 videos or 3 videos or 6 videos? So what have you seen usually?
Actually, it has so happened that I have always looked for long-term relationships with anyone, whether it's in my personal life or my work life. This was my concept. So I don't just have hi-bye meetings. Either I won't meet only anyone, or else if I have meeting, I'll keep them forever. This was my work ethics as well. And the brand initially comes for one-time work. And once you do your one video, and then they realize how the quality of work is and the response they are getting, then they have come forever. So anyone who has come to work with me once has been a long-term relationship with that brand, and I don't let that brand go from me. That hasn't happened. So touch wood, the growth has happened only because I have long-term and not one-term relationship. Whatever conflicts are there, issues are there, need to be solved and addressed very nicely. It's a human being on the other side, no matter how big the brand is. Even if you say it's a huge brand, there is a person standing who has feelings and who has logic. So in the end, if you talk about anything now, people love people. It's like good vibes are always shared, and even the brands want to hold on to good people. If they have worked once. So even I want the brand to work with me again. Because even I want work. So that way, if you have good relationships in general in life, you will go ahead. To treat people very kindly and be very honest about even if you are hard, like if I have certain rules which are very non-negotiable for me, you say that bluntly. Even the brands like it. They respect you for that. You have to share it, but whatever it is, just talk about it. And that way relationships happen. And that's how 2 years have been. I have been working with the same brand again and again and again and again and again. That's how the work keeps going, how the consistency of work, keeps happening.
Yeah. This is one thing, very interesting point that you've brought up, that humility and being a nice person is an underrated thing, right? We always look at talent and we always look at the numbers, but for a long-term success, being a nice person is a very important thing, right?
Very important. If you have a good personality and if you're nice, you're talking, if you're honest, now your work will come. Why wouldn't they? Because everybody wants to work, right? But if the person is more approachable and little adjusting here and there, then they love to work with you. Anybody would. Suppose if you are a brand, you would obviously choose a great talent over a okay talent, but a good person. Unconsciously, subconsciously, you will do that. You won't even know you're doing it. Because it's easy to work, right? In the end, you want to close. Once you close a campaign, that's the greatest feeling. Trust me, as a PR, as an agency, and as a influencer, the greatest feeling is when the campaign is closed. So our work is done. Okay.
And this is something that I've noticed firsthand talking to you, right? I'm sure you are very busy with everything that goes around your life, but whenever I'm messaging you for things, talking to you, I get quick replies and detailed replies. So that's a trick.
Of course. Not a trick, yeah. You are my very good friend. We've met during our NAS days, and now we are here. Of course, I will reply. I might be late here and there, but you'll definitely get a reply. Once I see the message.
That's a very good quality that I think every professional should have, irrespective of which career they are in. So, okay, talking about the financial aspects of things. So, tell us a little about how does that work out? Like if I am an established creator or a newbie, how does the money or the financial side of things work? And you can also tell us a bit about your journey, and because this is a new space and it's still growing and developing.
So initially when I started off, everything was either very low pay or a barter basis. Now a barter basis was when the company gives you what is a barter campaign? The company gives you their product, and in exchange you have to make a video or make content for them and post. So till I was in 10,000 range or something of followers, it was mostly a barter collaborations, and you should do it. Why not? You can start off as a new creator, but later on when your followers are increasing, your influence increases, you can start charging. So now it is very inconsistent, just like any business. Initially it was hardly anything. In the first year, I hardly made any actual money. It was okay, like just pocket money type, most of them were my expenses only used to go. But still my passion, since I told you my passion was this. So when it comes to dental clinic, I had profits from the first month because I was so hardcore businessman there. But here it was more of my passion than real money that I was wanting. So I was okay with the initial part. For first I was okay, but after COVID, when I started my video creation niche, the money started coming in. Yes, there were actual payments that were made, and very decent enough. Today I can say I make good money to support my family, support my entire expenses, and even keep savings, and I can think of buying stuff only with my influencer income that I make. But it is tough. Just like any business, it takes time. It took me a couple of years to be established. It can take some people 5 years. For some it would be just 2 months, 3 months, and they can already be earning in lakhs. So it's not, nothing is fixed, but you have to make your own way. Since it's so new, after a while, when you have credibility, there is good income that you can create. Yes. And plus, especially now, there are so many short video platforms that are there. So they are paying fixed income salaries to creators. So that has been an extra thing for creators as well. So yes, you can have a full-time career in creation, and short video creation is the future. It's not going anywhere, for sure, with or without COVID.
So also, is there an जैसे कुछ proportionate होता है क्या कि if you have this much followers then this is the range that you will get paid? इस जैसे जो marketing agencies होती हैं, influencer marketing agencies, do they work with numbers? Yeah, it really depends on artist to artist.
Sometimes they do, like sometimes they have, if we have 100k plus 50k plus follower, we pay this much. But most of the time it's on the creator. So as a creator, no two creators can be the same even if they have the same followings. It's like every creator's creation quality is different, so he or she can charge accordingly. So it's up to you to accept or not. So if somebody tells me you will get paid this much because your followers this much, I might not accept that, because my creation I know what reach my quality content gets. I know the work behind that and the advantage the brand gets, because when I give rights to advertise with the brand, the kind of videos, you have to calculate all that when you come to a price. So there is still, so this is such a new agency now, Anubhav, that you cannot say कि ये fixed है. अभी तक कुछ fixed नहीं है कि इतना है followers इतना पैसे मिलेगा इतना. Even though sometimes brands do try to do that, it's up to you whether to accept it or not. You can definitely negotiate here and there, or if you're okay, you can work with it.
Okay. And in the present state where you are, do you have to negotiate a lot, or it's not really the case with brands?
See, any business, there is always negotiation. Always. No matter, even if you go to buy a house or you go to buy one pen or something, a dress or something, there is negotiation. There's always going to be negotiation. And that's the fun, yeah, why not? Both the parties want the best they can do in the deal, So yes, there is 100% negotiation, and that's good.
Yeah.
You should know what you should stand for, what should be the right code for you as a creator.
Okay, awesome. You have close to 140,000 followers on Instagram, right?
148k.
148k now.
Yeah,
so,
close to 150.
Yes, it's going to be soon. Tell us about your journey as an influencer on social media, influencer on Instagram. Is there something that you attribute to your growth? This is what you did, or this is how someone should go about so that you can have a lot of followers? Was there some process to it?
Yeah. So what I do is I used to experiment with my content a lot. So I tried out carousel posts, I tried out static posts, then you try out video posts and reels. So these are the 4 formats, even IGTV and stories. So with the combination, with a lot of trial, trust me, I still try now and then change, because Instagram algorithm keeps changing. So what works best for me is what I do more forever. So things that don't work that great for me, I don't really post it that much. So reels are something which are giving great reach. So I see to it that I do a lot of reels. And for me, static posts do a lot better than carousel posts. I don't know why, but it's like that. So I focus more on the static posts than the carousel. So it's for my channel. For everybody, it should be different. And for me also, stories do really great. I think static stories do better than my video stories. So this has been my observation about my profile. It can change for anything. So yes, so whatever I feel get better response. You can see the comments for static posts go up to 700. Yeah, that is the potential that and even the kind of pictures, if I do a particular kind of pictures, I get more response than I do something else. That also keeps changing. So with time, I focus on one thing which I feel is giving me better response, of course. And that gets you more followers, of course.
Okay.
So you have to experiment here again. So you have to experiment on your work, try all the formats, and certain formats will perform more than certain other formats, and focus on them. So try doing 60-70% on those kinds only. And occasionally other formats, here and there.
Okay, so experimentation is the key, that we should try new kind of content and in different formats.
Yeah? Yes, different formats, and something will work more than the other thing. So focus on that one thing more.
Okay.
That is the thing.
Okay. And in the fashion space, right? We always get a lot of love and some share of hate as well on social media. So sometimes for the cultural reasons, sometimes for different reasons. So tell us about your share of love and hate on social media. That if you can talk about that.
I have received so much love from everyone in the field, the girls and the boys. In India, I have they get DM me so much about how I've reached here and how they also want to be the same steps. So the hatred that I've received is actually 0.1% compared to the love that I've got. So even though there are such painful comments and weird messages that I get, it is so easy to just either block them or avoid them or ignore them. That is as it is. Hatred to hona hi hai. Not everybody can be happy with you, right? Why do you want everybody to be happy? It's okay to have haters also. They are also your fans, unknown fans. Unknowingly, they are your fans. So it's okay. It's gonna happen. Even though, of course, it affects. If somebody says something really mean, you feel bad for the few minutes, but then just get over it. That's a part of this occupation. Tomorrow, if you're doing your job in this office, not everybody's gonna love you. Half of them don't like you. Half of them you don't like. So it is there everywhere.
Yes, true. Okay, coming from social media to back to your job, right? Tell me one thing, or if there's more than one, that you love about your job, and if there's something that you don't really like about your job. Like for
my job of video creation?
Yes, content creation. So
one thing I love about my job is the location freedom I get. Most of the content I work from home, I create from my home. So that is something I really like. I don't like to travel to an office, and especially in Mumbai with the traffic, I'm very happy doing things at home. So that's something which is great. Some things I think that is not great is sometimes it gets so hectic that literally I'm working or shooting for 12 hours a day. And it's really tiring, and we have a shortage of sunlight, so I work only when there is sunlight. After sunlight I don't really shoot because I like bright content. That's what I put on my page, and even the videos have to be really bright. So yes, the hectic working hours, and sometimes we are editing till 2 a.m 3 a.m at night because there are deadlines we have to meet. Even the brands are the deadline. So that's one thing I don't like that much, but other than that, it's great. I love it because the freedom, I love it. I can work from home, I can just get up and shoot from home. So that's fun.
Okay, awesome. Last question. If someone wants to become a content creator, especially in the fashion and lifestyle space today, right? There's a lot of competition. There are so many creators that have come up. So if you have some advice, some points that you'd like to tell a newbie to do, right, so that they can be successful, then what would those be?
First thing, so even if there are a lot of creators around, that means there are a lot of opportunities as well. So there won't be people unless there is a market. So that is a good thing. If there is competition, that means there are roles, the requirement is there. Second of all, Instagram is not the only place you can look for if you want to be a creator. There is YouTube, which is a major king of everything. There are other platforms. There's Facebook. There's MX Takata, Chingari app. There are so many apps that are already there. So you can select your own platform now. You don't have to just be focused on Instagram, because I understand Instagram reach is down for everyone. Okay, even the big millions creator, they don't get the reach that they used to get even a few months ago. So you don't have to be upset that Instagram mein kuch nahi ho raha. It's okay, there are other platforms. Try your luck everywhere and keep doing it. Keep doing it. You never know. Don't leave your studies and do it. First of all, even I didn't leave my studies. I became a creator while I was doing a full-time MBA. Monday to Saturday I had college. So you keep doing it. You never know when things start clicking. If you love it, just keep doing it.
Okay, so perseverance and passion are the way to go, right? For what you're doing.
Yes, persistence and passion. Keep doing consistency. That is one thing. And keep switching platforms. That's what I'm saying. Experiment. You don't have to be only on Instagram to be somebody. You can be on so many platforms. Now we don't have TikTok anymore, but there were such great TikTokers who were there in a different channel, and still they were doing so well. Even financially, they were earning very well.
Yeah. One thing that we see with a lot of creators, right, is that after a point of time, if they do not see their followers increasing, they kind of give up.
Don't get discouraged. I know. Instagram does that on purpose. Okay. They don't want you to grow because there are so many people already, and so that we spend on ads. That is the whole point. So that we spend more on paid ads. That is the whole. Instagram is there to make money in the end. So it's okay, don't be discouraged. Keep doing it. Find on a different platform, because the new platforms will give you more leverage. They want new people. So the more you are on a platform where there are less people, the more focused you will get, and you will get easily grow as a creator.
Yes, and which is absolutely right. There are so many platforms that are coming up.
So many.
So and different platforms are giving a niche to different kind of creators.
Exactly.
So-
New kind of art is coming out because of the different type of apps coming out. So you can experiment with that. You can be creator anywhere. You don't have to just be focused on Instagram. So that is so easy. That's what I'm saying. You can sit at home and decide what you want to do. That's the freedom of creativity. Or be in some corner of the world and create content. That's why I love my field. I can be anywhere and I can create. I just need my phone in hand.
Yeah. And when you travel to new places, the kind of content we see on your social media from those places is just amazing, right? So
Thank you.
I think one of the one of the things that is great about your job that I feel is that when you travel and create content with your travels, vlogs or different kinds, it is just the icing on the cake of the current work that you do with brands. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I love it too. I just love creating content when I'm traveling here and there to capture the essence of the background. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Meghla, for joining us for this conversation. I'm sure that.
Thank you, Konva, for having me. It was such a nice time I had.
I hope that you enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that you had something to take home from this conversation. And if you are someone who wants to build a career in the content creation space, and then there are a lot of things that all of us, even the established creators like Meghla, are figuring out, because this is a new thing that has come up over the past 5 years. But I think this is going to grow, and any creative career that is coming along is bound to grow in the next 10 years. Personally, I feel that no matter which profession you are in, engineering, non-engineering, MBA, you have to be creative in the way you work if you want to sustain, because with advent of technology, artificial intelligence, many careers that required you to do the same thing every day are going to go away, right? We have to be creative and innovative in what we do so that we can bring in that human touch, which is needed for humans to stay relevant and stay relevant in terms of in the times of robots and automation coming in. Thank you so much, Meghla, for joining us. And if you like this video, please check out Meghla's Instagram, and I'm sure you would want to follow her. And if you like,
please do follow me.
And if you like this video, then follow Skyshot, and so that we can come back with another interesting story, talk about another creative career with another super artist, super professional like Meghla. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.